हृदय में प्राण में निस दिन तुम ही हो ध्यान में तुम ही हृदय में प्राण में निस दिन तुम ही हो ध्यान में हर रोम में तुम हो बसे हर रोम में तुम हो बसे तुम श्वास की आवाज हो क्या हो सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा ॐ गणपते नमो नमः सिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाप्पा मोरया या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्मच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती सरस्वती
Om Shanti. Good morning to you all. Today's link, I'm sure you read the theme, Beyond Animosity. What is animosity? What's the definition of animosity? Animosity suggests intense ill will and vindictiveness that threatens to kindle hostility. Rancor is especially applied to bitter brooding over a wrong animus. And to discuss all this, I'd like to invite Lakshadidi, who's there. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Good morning, everyone.
Om Shanti.
How is everyone? It's been some time that I haven't met the group.
Yeah, we missed you, Dakshan Didi.
Yeah, I'm getting lovely feedback from the sisters, not so many brothers, but mostly sisters who've been sharing with you. And I think it's been your fortune that you've had variety of experienced meditators sharing with you. So as I was just thinking, what theme should we take this Sunday? And this word just popped up in my mind. So I said, yeah, let's churn about it. We here in the BK, we use this word churning the knowledge, manthan karna. Yeah, so take a point of wisdom and then you go into depths of it, and not expansion, but really going into depths of it and understanding what it means and what is it that I need to change, what is it that I need to hold on to. So it's going beyond animosity. You know, like we know of the ferocious vices, very popular ones that we, since our childhood, have been hearing about it in our devotional songs, and you know, the messages we've received through scriptures and at holy places. We talk about Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. That's lust, anger, greed, attachment, arrogance. But then beyond this ferocious vices, there is also things like irsha, jealousy, yeah, and animosity is one of those little vices, but actually it's often these little things that bothers you so much, and then it leads into bigger things. So like the lighter version of anger, one of the manifestation of that is jealousy, and that is having that ill feelings of wanting to put somebody down or wanting to you know, bring ill to them, or maybe even be not capable of doing that physically or externally, but we wish bad for them, you know, and we're not happy when something nice happens to them. So where does this irsha, the jealousy, the envy, the animosity, where does it rise from? And it was a very beautiful message this morning we were listening to. The class is still going on. And it's the point that came up in the Murli, one of the ones, is that when there isn't that attainment, then there is no contentment. And when there is no contentment, then we start looking outside and we start comparing. So jab prapti nahi hai, when there isn't that attainment through my spiritual effort, through my connection with the Supreme, then it's a bit like the saying, you know, when the vessels are empty, when the urn is empty or is half full, then it starts spilling. Yeah, then the water starts spilling. But when you know, the urn is completely full, then you carry it on your head, it will not spill. Or you move from one place to another, it won't spill. So it's a bit like that, that what I need to stand back and look at is that on a daily basis, am I taking everything that I need to? Am I focusing on the things that I appreciate? Am I focusing on kind of empowering myself? You know, and the group that we're addressing to are very aware of their own self-effort. And this is why you're making this time to come in the morning, on a Sunday morning, where you could be lying down or you could be spending time with your family at breakfast. But why do you choose? Because you all sincerely wish to make a difference in how you feel, your interactions with others, your relationships. And this is why you're making this time. But what I'm trying to understand, but maybe there isn't enough commitment, or maybe there is slackness. You know, often the willingness is there, but we get caught up and we make other things our priority. Yeah. And then our own spiritual effort becomes very secondary. And this is where we find that when we start slacking in those things, then there isn't that feeling of attainment. And when there isn't that complete attainment, it's like being the urn not so completely full, then we start looking outside, then we start comparing. So either we have the arrogance, oh, I'm better than off, I have much more than them. Or sometimes it's the other way around, where I feel you know, I don't have enough. Or even sometimes it's like, how come, you know, they're getting all this and I'm not getting it? So there is the animosity. When, excuse me, even in the 6 scriptures, one of the popular attribute of God that is remembered is being nirvair. So kisi ke saath vair nahi, no animosity. So if I can put my hand, my heart, and see that, am I having any ill feelings or jealousy or envy, or I'm thinking on those lines that I deserve this, not them, or they don't deserve this. See, we don't know what person's karma has been in the past, even if the current karma may not be so good. And they must have done something, or if not, they will pay for what they're doing wrong now. But why do I spend my time thinking they don't deserve this? They should not be acknowledged. Others should be acknowledged, or I should be acknowledged. Why do I think in those lines? So we have to be very clear that it's not my honor, it's not my self-respect to think about others. See, each of the soul has their own karma and connection with others, with God. And God will look after it. I don't need to interfere. I have enough of my karma to clear. I have enough of my karma to look at and focus. In fact, our focus should be on improving our relationships, improving our quality of thoughts. One of the other things that came up in our study class this morning is the amount of waste thoughts we allow ourselves to be, surrounded by. Sometimes it's not even negative, but it starts off with waste thoughts. And then before we know it, leads on to really negative thoughts. And same thing with when there's this feeling of envy, jealousy, as the slight irritation, then what happens? Then it leads into anger. Then the anger leads into some sort of violence. And often this violence building up in people then leads into that society, the community, and the nation, and then worldwide. But the seed of that is really that comparison, that jealousy, that envy. And really, if we were to think that this was some of my last moments of life, what would I like to be thinking about? Is it something that on those lines as this one did that, and this one that did that, and they shouldn't have done this? Is that the thoughts I want to have? Or is it that all the beautiful things that have happened in my life, what is it that I want to go with? So the times that we are going through, any of us can leave our bodies anytime. And I'm not sharing this to scare you, but I'm sharing this with this awareness that really we do need to understand that so many things, and especially many thoughts that we have, is it really worth it? Is that really what I want to do? And generally the answer would be no. So then why am I spending my time doing that? Why am I not having good thoughts? And even if I don't have so many positive thoughts, let me not have negative thoughts. Yeah. So these are the things. And one of the other things that came up this morning, and I thought was so good because it was on the lines that I was thinking for this session, is that when we have deep, deep love, then forgiveness becomes very easy. And what was being suggested, that how much love God has for each of us, really, truly. How many mistakes we must have done from our childhood till now. And yet, if we look back and step and see that on thousands of occasions, or maybe many thousands of occasions, God has helped us. And God has never left our hand. and has been guiding us in one form or the other, maybe through sessions like this, maybe through a line you read in the book or a devotional song or a friend. In many miraculous ways, God has been sharing things with us that we need to hear and has guided us, has protected us. God did not sit and say, no, you did this, you need to get punishment. But the love is so huge. And within that love, our little mistakes are overseen, even our bigger mistakes are overseen. So can I, as a child of God, also have that pure love for everyone? It's like, what is it? I keep saying that. What is it that I'd like to retain as I'm leaving this body, physical body? Because as is the saying, that whatever is your last thought will lead you to your next birth. And it will continue and continue. And if my last thought is that of envy, is that of unhappiness, is that of comparison, then where is it going to take me? So it's not just that I am leading this life unfulfilled, not happy, but it's also that I'm taking this forward if I'm not careful. But it's not that suddenly I know that, okay, now I only have 5 minutes to leave, or half an hour, or how many days, and I'm going to be all nice and good and enjoy and be happy. No, we won't be able to do that, because at the end of our journey, this life journey, what will come to our mind is what we have focused for years. So even if we haven't been aware of this, but now on, at least let me start being aware that my final thoughts will lead me to my destination. And my final thoughts is going to be the thoughts that I've had for so long. Now, take for instance, you might have seen many deaths in your family, departures in your family. And generally, you will see that somebody is holding on to being in the body until their ex-relative comes. And once they've come, they kind of fly off. So all their life, that relationship had been important. And so at the end, who were they remembering? Their daughter, their sons, their children, their wife, husband, whoever it may be, sisters, brothers, whoever they had that love for. And until they come, they're not able to leave the body, or even if there is, then there is sorrow that I had to go without seeing them, right? So, I like to share a joke that there was this businessman who was so keen on his business. He had run his shop, and he was about to leave his body, and he had 3 sons, and all 3 sons were helping him in the shop. And the shop was doing well. So he was very happy. He had also love for all his sons. So as he was about to leave the body, and then he's in the hospital on a deathbed, and then he's very pleased to see that the first son comes, and the second one comes, and this third one comes. And he was so overjoyed that really my sons love me so much that they're here to help me, they're here to see me off, etc. And then suddenly he realizes, say, all 3 of you are here, so who's looking after the shop? So all his life, what was more important, even than his sons, was his business. So what was the last thought? And there's a shock that, the shop is being affected because all 3 of you here. The joy he had in seeing them now was overtaken by sorrow. So let's today, as we sit for meditation, look at the things that's been important to us. And if it are good things, fine, let's carry on. And good things as in, is it about me? I want to improve myself. Is it about increasing my love for God, my faith in God, increasing love and harmony in the family, in my connections? If these are the things that I have been putting attention to, giving attention to, then it's fine. Let me continue. But if not, then I need to check and really make that shift right now. Okay, so let's sit back and we'll go through some meditative thoughts, and then we'll have time for Q&A. So I sit back, relaxed but alert. If you're sitting on a chair, you may want to put your feet down on the ground. If you're holding anything, just put it aside. I breathe in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. I look within, in the mirror of my mind. And my hand on my heart. And checking what are the things that has been important all my life. What are the things that I value the most? So from morning till end of the day, and as I go to sleep, how do I spend my time? What are the thoughts that are prominent? Do I start my day with those feelings of happiness, of joy, of saying thanks to the Supreme? Or most of my thoughts are that of mundane nature, that of worry. Need to be aware and let it go. Because now I understand that my true nature is that of love. And it starts with loving myself. And one of the things that helps to love myself is to make sure that I'm free from waste. And I only have good feelings and good wishes for everyone and everything. Because even if the other person is not right. Karma, God will look after that. I do not need to interfere and take that responsibility, which is not mine, because I have enough of work of myself to do. Yeah, when I finish doing that, then maybe I can help. It's so often I now understand that in the need or the hope of helping someone, I forget to help myself. And then what happens? There's irritation, there's envy, because I'm not filling myself with the spiritual strength. And secondly, it's not in my hands to change somebody. This person thinks situation will only change when they want to, not when I think they should. So now I understand, I continue to have good wishes. And time again, I can share and guide, but not become heavy if things don't change. Because what is my prime responsibility is changing myself. Freeing myself from any harshness, any jealousy. Why should I be jealous? Why should I be envy of anyone? Why should I have ill feelings and animosity for anyone? Every actor is playing their part. And I have to play mine. And now I understand that things that I focus on a daily basis will eventually lead and shape how I leave the body. With what thoughts? And it's my last thoughts and the final thoughts would lead me to my future destination. So now I understand that it's sensible for me to make my thoughts so positive, make my feelings so positive. And even if I can't be positive, let me be very neutral. Let me empower myself on a daily basis. First thought I have, the last thought I have before going to bed. And during the day, as often as I can, let me remind myself that I am this being of light, the child of God, the supreme light. May God, my constant companion, give time to listen to what God has to say and not just spend time in what I want to say. Yeah, that too is important, but also need to hear what He has to say. So let me just take this next few moments. Taking that love from the Supreme. And cleaning any ill feelings I have for anyone. Just fly. Keep flying. I love myself and I love everyone. And through my meditation, I connect with the Supreme. The love that I receive is so unconditional. I don't need to look around. And I can continuously give. Staying in my self-respect. And that feeling of being complete with God's gifts, the attributes, the specialities. I continue to think and to lead a very purposeful and meaningful life. Where I am content and where God is proud of me. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. That was beautiful. I was gone twice.
Any questions? Yeah.
Can I share something?
Yes, Pratnabai.
The happiness and love you spread when you are amongst everybody, you do get that back
Yes.
without having animosity with anybody. Not having animosity, I mean. And being happy and content and spreading that happiness and love, you do get that back.
Yes, if I'm jealous, I'm envious, I have that ill feelings for anybody, what am I going to get back? So let's be
Unconditional.
wise. Let's be wise and just have good feelings for everyone. You know? And really, God's there to sort out between that person and whatever they're doing. Why do I need to take it on board?
Works
It's
in
not to say
mysterious
we don't guide if we are kind of the head of the family or the important person in the family, we guide. Even if we are younger ones, we can still guide. But I don't need to take that responsibility because we waste so much time doing that. So we forget to actually be our own friends.
Yeah, God works in mysterious ways.
One question I also had for you, this group, is, I think it's been coming close to I'm a year and 8 months. We started last January. Most Sundays we've been meeting. But once the session is finished, I know you'll have, most of you give lovely feedback, but actually, do you take at least one or two things to practice for that day, that week, and hopefully throughout your life? Do you do that? Or once the session is over, then you get into breakfast, family, and so on and so forth. So you're making this time, and we're making this time to meet the group. At least like, our study class, which is about 2.5, 3 pages, A4 size. Even if we don't remember all of it, okay, we aim to read it, listen to it at least 2, 3 times a day. But at least every session, let me take something and improve my life. So I would suggest that you keep a book, especially for this sessions, where each session, what is it that you're underlining for yourself? And throughout the day and throughout that week, at least, keep looking at it. And then when you have time, you can go back to it again. Because that, when I look at my old notes, I'm like, oh, I did this, or I had noted this, but now I've forgotten the words. But obviously, somehow it's sunk in. But when we go back to our notes, it just feels very nice, and it kind of reaffirms the things that had been important to us when we had these sessions. Otherwise, it can be easily forgotten and they become a past. Right? Any other questions?
What I actually do every time I finish a session, I actually sit there half an hour thinking about it, what I have done today, and how did it go. I
Very
do,
good.
I do digest that, and
Mm.
I feel happy. I really do feel happy when I've done something good.
Mm. It's just like, the way we look at it when, the traditional way of making butter, makhan, you have, you take the milk, you boil it, then you let it cool down a little bit, then you put the culture in it, then you let it set. And then once the yogurt is done, the curd's ready, you churn it, and you churn, and then the butter comes. Yeah, which was considered to be healthy. I don't know how butter is seen now, but traditionally, it's in a makhan mil gaya. So whatever we hear, let me look at the different aspects of it. Let me sit on it, like you were saying. Let me keep reminding myself of these things. And, we don't have to remember 20 points, even if I remember a few. And then that becomes mine. And when something becomes mine, it doesn't leave so easy. Otherwise, it's a pot of wisdom. This guru, this Maharaj said this, and this sister and brother said that. But I have to, if it touched me, means then it's something within me that's resonating with it. So let me inculcate that, let me imbibe that and make it mine. Because whichever guru or Maharaj or brothers or sisters, whoever is saying, the priest, holy person, it's God's wisdom. It's not their wisdom, right? It's something they practice and they found important. But so often we get impressed and touched by how they present things, but we forget the source is God. Right? And this is why we need to get back to connecting with that source, which is the Supreme, and making that mine, and it's fine because God is my parent, and the children generally have this intoxication, whatever the parents have, it's mine. So all God's attributes we have right to, all God's wisdom we have right to. There is saying in our holy books that Chiriyon ne sagar ko khap kiya. Little sparrows actually engulfed the whole ocean. Can you imagine a sparrow kind of engulfing the whole ocean is not possible. So we are like the sparrows, and we take God's knowledge, and make it our own. And so that is actually Sagar ko khud karna, and engulfing the ocean of wisdom. And it's not right. And it's also a protection, because as we are about to do something wrong, then point of wisdom will stop us. And God's direction will stop us. Ye karo, ye na karo. Do this, don't do this. And so if it's so easily available, why do I then need to make mistakes, and then I need to repair those mistakes? And then often when there's this bitterness in relationship, then we have to go to the stage of involving outside parties like counselors, people to counsel us, people to help us with medication and whatnot. Because a lot of our ailments today, are of psychosomatic disorders. And if we can easily, from the very beginning of our day, throughout the day, and especially at night too, focus on those things, then we will be, saving ourselves from a lot of his reactions, and also even ill health, and just a lot of sorrow. We will protect ourselves from it. So when it's so easily done and so quickly done, why not? And there's no charge for it. Yeah, it comes free from God to us. So why not be sensible? Okay, some of the illnesses is due to, as we age, as the environment changes, those things we can't avoid. And fine. But many of our illnesses is based on ill feelings, begins with that. And then it leads into major trauma. So where we can change. So no matter what trauma we may have gone through, but now God's love is so powerful that all of this trauma can heal. Like bigde ko banane wala Bhagwan hai. So God can sort out anything that's gone wrong. But do I give that time to myself to connect with God and to have that trust and faith? Or am I looking, God, this for them and not this for me? Okay, there's something that others may have received more externally than I have. But then there are thousands of things that I've received that others haven't. Why don't we see that? But also when we do see that way, there shouldn't be arrogance either, but just absolute gratitude. And so that unconditional love of God that sits within us, and we're able to then freely give that to others. Any other questions or comments? If not, we'll have a bit more meditation.
Very interesting topic today. And it's very, very, to take in, as you said, and then to practice that in your daily life, you have to be really, really very mindful and continuously remember yourself that, hang on, reconnect yourself with all the thoughts what we have said.
So what I've been noticing that as a human nature in the last week, a couple of weeks that I've been focusing on, it's so easy when something goes wrong, whoever is in our connection, our colleagues, service companion, our family. See, when something goes wrong, we're so easy to catch that. But are we equally saying thanks when they do something good? We're quite miserly in terms of saying thanks and acknowledging. So even if somebody's, doing something nice, let's acknowledge it. I feel that, traditionally we're brought to thinking that saying thank you is kind of distancing us from our family members. In our families, we don't say thank you. But they may, even if that doesn't work, there may be some way of acknowledging what they do for you. Yeah. And if somebody's just brought a change in their thinking, in the way they do things, like say, for instance, souls in my connection, when they create some leaflets, so if I'm always saying, no, this needs to change and this needs to change. But am I also saying when they do something nice? I was just asking, just giving you a simple example, and you can translate that to the other situations. That, if somebody's not well, let me call and ask them if they've done so much for me throughout the life, or for others they've. So let me acknowledge that. And it just maybe makes their day. It maybe helps them to do more of the things that they've been doing. Sometimes you don't think that these little things are so necessary. And so these were things I was focusing that even if I see something not so wrong, but let me see the 1,000 things they've done good. And so that then it doesn't overpower your thinking. And then it's like I often see that when things are not right, I'm quite quick at getting it to their attention. And, with the hope that they don't make mistakes, with the hope that they get protected, maybe whatever the intention may be right. But equally, I need to be aware that when they are doing good things, which is probably far, far more than things that are not right. So this is where I was thinking the envy, and it's like, okay, one time they put you down, but 1,000 times they may have even praised you. Why don't I remember that?
True, very true. I sorry.
Okay, go on, Panaben.
I actually experienced this episode just last week. I did a poster for Lions Club, and it is for Diwali. And I did about 10 different posters with different backgrounds, what they specified, and according to what I thought this will look really beautiful. Because I'm so good with my posters and that, I gave them 10 to 15 different posters. And the feedback I got was like Didi said, they don't realize what they're seeing and what they're saying. So, right from the beginning, I was getting negative form from them. And then I gave them what actually they wanted. And then they came back saying, oh, it's beautiful. And to me, that's not beautiful because all my um, imagination behind the Diwali poster was wasted. So, what I believe, what we learned from school, young days, what the teachers were teaching us to always say thank you, please, and sorry whenever it's not, whenever it's needed. And this is how we were taught as well, that anybody does something for us, we always say thank you, even if you didn't like it, but you appreciate it.
They put in the energy,
Yes.
and you guide them that maybe this can be changed, this can be changed. But when we have that critical view about things and situation, it's like a sharp knife. But what we don't realize is also harming us far more than the other person.
Yeah.
And something that we would have said on one occasion could mean something to change people's life. Like I know from my experiences with Dadi Janki and souls like her, is that one line they would have said would last me for a lifetime. But same thing, if they'd said something wrong, then I would also have believed and made that possible. So, what we tell our children, yeah, you don't understand, you're too small. We don't know how it affects them. So we have to be just extra careful.
Yes.
And when there's that pure feelings, and sometimes it's not that we have ill feelings, but we don't understand, and this is what the souls I work with, the souls I serve with, often making me realize, and I thank them for doing that, you know, like your presence is so important sometimes. And you think, okay, well, you guys are doing it, get on with it. Why do I need to be there? Kind of thing. So it's not that I have ill feelings for them, but I think, oh, I'm not needed there. Or I feel it's ordinary, my thinking. But no, our thinking cannot be ordinary. It has to be very, very positive and all inclusive. And so little things like that. But when there is that true love, then somebody can tell you where you need to change. When there's no love, then it becomes difficult to communicate. And so I think the basis of allowing the animosity to completely finish is just that unconditional love that God has for me, I need to have for everyone. And I know our karma will only bring good things, but still, if my intentions are unconditional, then even more good will come to me. Okay, let's finish with some more meditation. Unless there's any final comments or questions.
I think Pragnabin wanted to say
Oh,
something.
sorry. Yes, Pragnabin. You wanted to say something, Pragnabin?
It's okay.
Okay. So I sit back relaxed. Taking my thoughts within. Seeing myself as a being of light. Atma. Soul. And through my thoughts, I travel to the world of light. Leaving behind this physical world, which is sometimes of happiness, sometimes of chaos. I travel far, far beyond. Past the cosmos, into this world of red, gold light. Where the supreme light resides. The Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, Supreme Mother, Param Pita, Param Atma, my parent, my friend. It's unconditionally filling the soul and empowering the soul. All my hurt and sorrow dissolved. And there's nothing but just love and peace and happiness. Looking down to this world, sharing that rays of love, of belonging, of protection, that I received from the Supreme, my sweet Baba, my parent, my teacher, my guide, my friend. Now, with the entire world, I share that. Embracing everyone as one family, my family. And for each soul in the world, and the animals, nature, have just absolute love to share. And there's this feelings of gratitude that emerges of my fortune to have received this wisdom that love is the way to heal, to protect, and to move forward. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Slowly bring back my attention to where I am.
Thank you very much for this morning session. That was wonderful.
Thank you, Daksha Didi. It was beautiful.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Didi. It was lovely.
Lovely to
Thank
see.
It
you.
made me
Thank-
tears in my eyes.
Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Thank you.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you.
Shanti.
So good to
Thank
see you today, Dada Didi. Thank you.
Thank you, Didi. It was a wonderful session.
Excellent. Was thinking of Brighton trip.
No, Worthing.
Worthing trip with you.
I was thinking that this is why I'm saying that maybe, like we need to move to a now different level. We're meeting every Sunday, that deepen your experiences, deepen your practice. I know all of you are very, very spiritual. And this is why we keep, whenever Panna asks, we give time. But I think maybe another step forward, another step to deepen your experiences, your practices. We'll speak to Panna and
I think we enjoy it so much that everybody make an effort to come.
Yes.
Maybe go to the center sometimes. I think, on a Thursday especially, it's
Yeah.
really, it's a different experience as well, going to the center.
I think
Isn't-
that
yeah.
I would suggest, and also, you will have, many of you have done the meditation course. You have our links to Murli classes, as we say, call our study class, the Murli classes. At least 2-3 times a week, if not every day. I know some of you used to join, I'm not sure what happened, but we can restart those things. Because daily, or at least few times a week. I would suggest daily and maybe a few times a day. But if you can't manage on a daily basis, at least join as often as you can to our study class for those of you who've done the meditation course. And for those of you who haven't, I would suggest you strongly that you do the meditation course. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Panna.
Thank you, Panna Ben. Bye.
Ek minute. Ek minute. So what we have learned today, I have learned today, hostility implies very strong, open enmity that shows itself in attacks and aggression. Aggression is this animosity carries the sense of anger, vindictiveness, and sometimes the desire. So we have to be careful what we're also saying and thinking the right way. Thank you very much, Dakshaditi. That was brilliant today. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and so did all the participants. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Panna, as well.
Thank you. Have a lovely
Thank you.
You too, everyone.
Thank you very much, Panna.
Bye. Have a nice day, everyone.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you.